Hey everyone, welcome back to Quantum Tech Sage. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we talk about AI tools that actually make your life easier. Today we're doing something really special. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about Claude AI, Anthropic's AI assistant that's taking the world by storm. Whether you've never heard of Claude before, or you've used it a bit and want to unlock its full potential, this video is for you. We're covering 20 slides packed with features, plugins, real-world use cases, and I'm throwing in 5 pro tips at the end that most people miss entirely. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. This is going to be a good one. So, what actually is Claude? Claude is an AI assistant created by a company called Anthropic. And Anthropic isn't just any tech company. They were founded specifically to build AI that is safe and genuinely helpful. That is kind of their whole mission. Think of Claude like having a brilliantly smart friend who has read basically everything and is available 24/7 to help you with pretty much anything. There are 4 key things you need to know about it straight away. Under the chat badge. It understands natural language just like a human. Under brain. It has been trained on vast amounts of text data. Under shield. It is built with safety and honesty at its core. And under API, it is available on web, mobile, and via API for developers. Claude launched in 2023, is already being used by more than 10 million people worldwide, supports over 100 languages, and holds the #1 reputation for AI safety focus. In other words, it works wherever you need it, and it is built to be trustworthy. So, what actually is Claude? All right, let's get you set up. Getting started with Claude is honestly one of the easiest things you will do today. There are just 4 steps. Step 01. Open your browser and head to claude.ai. That is CLAUDE.ai. It is free to sign up with just an email address. Step 2. Create your account. You can sign up with an email address or just continue with Google. The whole process takes under 2 minutes. Step 3. Choose your plan. And here is the good news. You do not need to put in a credit card to get started. The free plan is genuinely useful and a great way to explore everything. Step 4. Start chatting. Just type your first message in the chat box, and Claude responds almost instantly. That is it. 4 steps, and you are in. As that bottom banner says, no credit card needed to start. Try Claude free today at claude.ai. Now, I know what you are thinking. What can the free plan actually do versus the paid plan? Great question. That is exactly what the next slide covers. Let's break down the free plan versus Claude Pro so you can make the right choice. On the left, the free plan at $0 a month. You get access to Claude models, standard response speed, a daily message limit, basic document analysis, and web browsing, although that is limited on the free tier. Every item on this column shows yes. And for a lot of people just starting out, this is genuinely plenty. On the right, Claude Pro at $20 a month. Everything is labeled Pro for a reason. You get the most powerful Claude models, priority response speed, 5 times more messages per day, advanced file analysis, and early access to new features before everyone else. My honest take? Start with the free plan. Explore it for a week. See what tasks you reach for Claude on every single day. If you find yourself hitting the daily message limit or needing more power, that is your signal to upgrade. As it says at the bottom of this slide, tip: start free. Upgrade when you need more. No pressure. Feature number 1, and the foundation of everything. Claude's natural conversation ability. You can see on this slide exactly how it works in practice. You type a question. Here someone has asked, "Can you explain quantum computing in simple terms?" And Claude responds naturally. Regular computers use on-off switches. Quantum computers use qubits that can be both at once, giving them extraordinary power. Then the user follows up, and the conversation flows. This is not like a search engine where you type keywords and get links. You talk to Claude exactly like you would talk to a person. Now look at the 4 feature pills at the bottom of the slide. First, it remembers context within a conversation, so you never have to repeat yourself. Second, it follows complex multi-step instructions. Third, it adapts tone, whether you want it formal, casual, or technical. And fourth, it asks clarifying questions when it needs more information instead of just guessing. The result? It feels less like using software and more like having a conversation. And that changes everything. Feature 2, Web Search. And this slide makes the difference crystal clear. Look at the 2 columns. Without Web Search, on the left, knowledge limited to training cutoff, cannot see today's news or prices, may give outdated information, and no source citations. Those are real limitations. With Web Search, on the right. And this is what Claude actually does. It fetches live data from the internet, finds today's news, prices and events, cites sources you can verify, and is always up to date. This is huge for students doing research, professionals tracking industry news, or anyone who wants answers they can actually trust. And the best part, look at that bottom banner. Web Search is on by default. You do not need to configure anything or flip any switches. Just ask about current events, and Claude searches automatically. This is one of those features that sounds simple, but fundamentally changes how useful an AI assistant can be. Feature 3. And this one gets me genuinely excited. Code writing and debugging. Now, I know some of you watching are not developers. And that is exactly why I want you to pay attention here. Because Claude makes coding accessible to literally everyone. Look at this slide. On the left, you can see a live code example. Claude writing a Python Fibonacci function in seconds, complete with the comment, "Claude wrote this in seconds." That is exactly what this looks like in practice. On the right, 5 capability badges. Under Lang, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and 50+ languages. Under Debug, it finds and fixes bugs automatically. Under Read, it explains code in plain English, which is brilliant for learners. Under Conv, it converts code between languages. And under Build, it writes full apps from a description. For developers, this is like having a senior engineer available around the clock. For non-developers, imagine describing what you want and watching Claude build it. I have seen people with 0 coding experience use Claude to build working tools for their business. That is the power we are talking about. Feature 4. Image understanding. Claude is not just a text tool. It can see. You drag and drop an image directly into the chat, and Claude analyzes it. Let me walk through the 6 cards on this slide. Photo analysis. Describe objects, people, scenes, and emotions from any photo in detail. Chart reading. Upload a chart, and Claude explains the trends, data points, and insights. Scan. Send photos of handwritten notes or receipts for text extraction. Design. Feedback. Share UI screenshots and get professional, actionable feedback. SCI for scientific images. Analyze diagrams, microscope images, and technical illustrations. And Solve. Photo of a maths problem? Claude reads it and solves it step by step. This makes Claude incredibly useful for students, designers, researchers, and anyone who works with visual information. And as it says at the bottom, just drag and drop any image into the chat to get started. It is that simple. Feature 5. Claude as your personal writing assistant. Writing is hard. Whether it is a professional email you need to get exactly right, or a creative story you have been trying to write for months, the blank page is intimidating. Claude makes that blank page disappear. Look at the 4 writing types on this slide. Under the email badge, professional emails, cold outreach, follow-ups, all drafted in seconds. Under blog, SEO-optimized content that engages readers and ranks on Google. Under creative, stories, scripts, poems, characters. Claude is described right here on the slide as a brilliant co-author. And under reports, academic papers, business reports, executive summaries, all polished. My personal favorite use is editing. Paste in anything you have already written and say, "Make this more concise," or "Make this sound more confident," and watch it transform. And as that bottom banner confirms, Claude also edits, proofreads, adjusts tone, and translates into over 100 languages. Whatever writing task you are facing, Claude has you covered. Feature 6. File and document analysis. This one is a massive time saver. You can upload files directly to Claude and have it analyze, summarize, and answer questions about the content. Look at the 4 file types on this slide. PDF, and that red badge makes it stand out. Summarize research papers, legal contracts, and reports in seconds. CSV in green. Analyze spreadsheet data, spot trends, answer questions about rows. DOCX in blue. Edit, proofread, and summarize Word documents instantly. And TXT. Process any plain text file, including logs, notes, and transcripts. Think about reading a long contract before signing it. Instead of spending 2 hours on it, you upload it and ask, "Are there any clauses I should be concerned about?" And get the key points in minutes. And as the bottom banner reminds you, upload files using the paperclip icon next to the chat input box. That is all it takes. Feature 7. And this is one that really transforms how you use Claude. Projects. If you have been using Claude by just starting a new chat every time, you have been missing out on something powerful. Look at the 3 project columns on this slide. Work. With items like meeting prep, email drafts, and report writing. Learning. Study notes, quiz practice, concept explanations. And side project. Code for your app, design ideas, market research. Projects are organized workspaces. Each one lets you store relevant conversations, but the real power is in what that bottom banner highlights. Custom instructions per project equals Claude tailored exactly to your needs. So in your work project, you might tell Claude, "I am a marketing manager at a B2B software company." Always write in a professional but friendly tone. Claude remembers that for every chat in that project. You never have to explain yourself again. Think of it as having multiple customized versions of Claude, each one optimized for a different area of your life. It is in the sidebar. Try it today. Feature 8. Memory. This is one of the most exciting additions to Claude. Historically, every AI conversation started from zero. You had to re-explain who you are, what you do, and what you need every single time. Memory fixes that completely. Look at the left panel. What memory does. 5 points. It remembers your name, job, and preferences. It learns from previous conversations. There is no need to re-explain context every session. It personalizes responses to your history. And crucially, you control exactly what Claude remembers. On the right, 2 types. Auto memory. That coral badge up top. Claude automatically saves useful facts from your chats. No action needed from you at all. And manual memory. With the dark badge. The example on the slide says it perfectly. Say, "Remember I am a teacher," and Claude saves it and uses it in every future chat. That's simple. And right at the bottom of the slide. Privacy. View and delete your memories anytime in settings. You are always in full control. Over time, Claude genuinely gets to know you. That is the difference between a useful tool and a real assistant. Think of it as having multiple customized versions of Claude, each one optimized for a different area of your life. It is in the sidebar. Try it today. Feature 9. MCP, which stands for Model Context Protocol. This slide shows it perfectly with that hub diagram. In the center is Claude. On the left, 3 apps connecting in: Google Drive, Gmail, and Slack. On the right, 3 more: GitHub, Asana, and Notion. Those arrows going in both directions show Claude sending and receiving information from all of them. That is the power of MCP. It plugs Claude into your favorite apps and services. Once connected, you interact with all of them through one interface. Natural language in Claude. For example, connect Google Drive and say, "Find my Q3 sales report and summarize it." Claude goes into your actual drive, finds the file, and summarizes it. No copy-pasting. Connect Gmail and say, "Draft a reply to Sarah about the project deadline." Claude reads the email and drafts the response. This is where AI stops being a chatbot and starts being a genuine assistant that integrates with your actual work. To set it up, as the bottom banner says, go to Settings then Integrations. Each connection takes about 2 minutes. Feature 10, Artifacts. And when you first see this in action, you will do a double take. The subtitle at the top says it well. Artifacts are interactive outputs Claude creates, not just text. 6 types shown here. Under the chart badge, ask Claude to visualize data, and it creates a live, zoomable chart right in the chat. Under React, Claude builds React components you can preview and interact with. Under SVG, flowcharts, mind maps, and architecture diagrams rendered visually. Under AP, fully functional mini-apps, calculators, games, trackers. Under Table, structured, sortable tables generated from raw data instantly. And under Slides, Claude can actually build interactive HTML slide decks on the fly. This bridges the gap between Claude gives me information and Claude builds things for me. Think of it as having a front-end developer on call. The Artifacts panel appears automatically next to your chat. You can download them, iterate on them, and use them in your projects. Feature 11. Deep Research Mode. This has personally saved me hours. Look at the 5-step flow across the top of this slide. Step 1. You ask. You enter a complex research question or topic. Step 2. Claude plans. It breaks it down into sub-questions automatically. Step 3. Searches. It runs dozens of web searches over several minutes. Step 4. Analysis. It cross-references sources and filters unreliable information. Step 5. Report. It delivers a cited, comprehensive research report. That is the entire workflow happening autonomously, without you lifting a finger after step 1. And then look at the "Why It's a Game Changer" box at the bottom. The slide says it directly. What used to take a researcher hours now takes Claude minutes. Perfect for students, journalists, and analysts who need thorough, cited information fast. The key difference from regular chat is the depth and the verification. Claude is not just retrieving, it is synthesizing and checking every source. And every claim comes with a citation you can verify. Look for the deep research option in the Claude interface. It is typically right in the chat input area. Feature 12. Claude on mobile, including voice mode. The Claude app is free on both iOS and Android, and this slide shows exactly what it looks like. That phone mock-up in the middle shows the MIC badge, the Ask Me Anything prompt, and sample queries like, "What is the weather?" Translate to French, and draft a shopping list. That is the voice experience in a nutshell. On the left, iOS and Android features. Free on App Store and Google Play. Full feature parity with the web version. Everything you can do on your computer, you can do on your phone. Offline history browsing, and push notification replies. On the right, voice mode. Speak naturally to Claude. Claude responds out loud, completely hands-free, and great for accessibility. For people with accessibility needs, this is incredibly valuable. And honestly, once you get used to speaking your questions, you will wonder how you managed without it. Search Claude AI in the App Store or Google Play. It is free to download. Now we are getting into the plugins. And slide 13 is about Claude Code, a separate supercharged version of Claude built specifically for software development. That subtitle at the top says it well. Claude Code is a terminal-based coding agent that lives inside your editor. 4 capabilities shown here. Under the VS Code badge, install the extension and get AI coding help right inside your editor. Under Reads, Claude understands your entire project, not just the single file you share. That is huge. Under runs, Claude actually executes your code, finds errors, fixes them, and verifies results. And under agentic, the most exciting one, give it a task like, build me a login page, and it works autonomously from start to finish. For beginners learning to code, it is like having a patient tutor. For experienced developers, it is like having a junior developer who works at the speed of thought. And the install command is right there at the bottom of the slide in the dark footer. npm install-g at anthropic-ai/claude-code. Or simply search for it in the VS Code Marketplace. Now let me put this all together with real-world use cases, because sometimes you need to see how this actually fits into someone's life. Look at the 4 panels on this slide. Students, essay planning and writing, summarize textbooks, quiz yourself on topics, explain complex theories. Claude is like a private tutor available around the clock. Students who use AI tools like Claude are genuinely covering more material, faster. Professionals, draft emails and reports, prepare for meetings, market research fast, analyze data quickly. Claude is your productivity multiplier. The hours you reclaim are yours to spend on higher-level thinking. Developers, write and debug code, generate documentation, code reviews in seconds, learn new frameworks. And that is on top of everything we covered with Claude Code. Creatives, brainstorm ideas freely, write scripts and stories, social media captions, SEO, blog content. Claude is a brainstorming partner, a co-writer, and an editor all in one. And that closing line at the bottom of the slide says it best. No matter who you are, Claude has something powerful to offer. All right, the moment you have been waiting for. Here are my top 5 pro tips that will instantly make your results with Claude dramatically better. These are right here on the slide. Screenshot this if you want to keep them. Number 01. Be specific. The more detail you give, the better the answer. Include your role, your goal, and any constraints. Instead of saying, write me an email, say, write a professional email to a client explaining a 2-week project delay. Apologetic but confident tone. Under 150 words. Specificity is everything. Number 02. Use examples. Say, write like this example, and paste a sample. Claude matches your style perfectly. It is brilliant at pattern matching. Number 03. Iterate and refine. Say, make it shorter, or more formal. The first reply is just the start. Think of it as a conversation, not a single transaction. Number 04. Assign a role. Start with, act as a marketing expert to unlock professional-level responses instantly. This fundamentally shifts the quality and tone of everything Claude produces. Number 5. Use projects. Set up a project for recurring tasks. Give Claude your preferences once, and it remembers them forever. Write these down. These 5 tips alone will completely change your experience. And that is a wrap. You have just been through 20 slides and covered the full Claude AI feature set, from the very basics all the way to the most advanced capabilities and plugins. You now know how to get started for free, how memory and projects work, how to write and debug code, how to connect Claude to your apps with MCP, and the 5 pro tips that separate casual users from power users. As this final slide says, you are now a Claude expert. Now, there are 3 things to do. First, subscribe Quantum TechSage and never miss a tip, because we post new AI tutorials every single week. Second, like this video. It genuinely helps more people find this content. And third, comment below. Tell me, which feature are you most excited to try? I read every single comment. And if you have a friend or colleague who keeps asking, what is all this AI stuff about? Send them this video. It is the perfect starting point. See you in the next one. Go use Claude and watch your productivity go through the roof. Take care.